Hey, what's cracking? This is Darren Phat-Man McDuffie helping you become perfectly healthy and toned. Today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my thoughts on obesity and how I've kind of changed my views. A couple of years ago, I would say 6, 7 years ago, before I really got into nutrition and finding out about the body, I would always see someone that was overweight and I would always think that that person was lazy. I thought that they were lazy, and I also thought that they ate too much. And there's been some things that have happened to me, of course, or my progression with nutrition, where I've kind of realized that those two things were just fallacies. And number one, as becoming a personal trainer or a fitness trainer, I always thought that I could beat people to death with exercise, and that exercise was always the answer. And then I came to realize that those people that I couldn't help through exercise, I could actually help through helping them to become healthier. There's certain people out there who have health problems. They have thyroid issues. They may have gut problems. They may have all kind of other issues that aren't even related to exercise that you have to find out about and then work on them, actually getting to the root causes of them instead of the symptoms. And then that person can go on and have a productive time when they look to shed some weight. Now, that's one thing. The second thing is through nutrition. This is what I found. Through nutrition, you have to realize that most of the stuff that we're eating now, the processed foods, all the things that you see in your local grocery store, besides produce, your meats and things like that, most of this stuff is processed. This isn't stuff we had several years ago. All of this stuff is being made in a lab and then it's being put on the shelf for you to buy. So what happens is with a lot of people who are overweight, they eat these type of foods and their body doesn't recognize those foods, or it may recognize the foods, but it doesn't recognize it as something that's giving them adequate nutrition. So what happens with a lot of people is they overeat. They're overeat and their body's trying to compensate for not getting enough nutrition. So they eat, they're constantly eating. They're eating, more hamburgers. They're eating more French fries. They're eating all of these bad foods because their body is trying to tell them to say, hey, we need more nutrient dense foods. And for example, I'll give you an example of how this happens. I know for me, I used to always purge on potato chips. And one of the things my body was telling me is that it needed more salt. I've never been a high salt person, but the body does need salt, not white bleach salt, but you need sea salt. And I also use something called real salt, which I think I've explained before, which has all the minerals that the body needs. So I started putting more salt in my food and vice versa. Well, not vice versa, but consequently, I was able to get off the potato chips because I realized my body was trying to tell me something. A lot of people who are obese today, they're not realizing that their body is trying to tell them something. You have people who are doing Weight Watchers. If you look at Weight Watchers and this food and all of this stuff that they have, there's a lot of processed stuff in there. There's a lot of chemicals in there. So the body is being bombarded with chemicals, but yet it's not getting the nutrition that it needs. So what do we do about this? You have to adopt a real food diet. Real food means things that we had years ago, simple things like eggs, simple things like produce. That's real food, a real food diet. Things like bread or something that was made up, that someone came up with, is not really real food. You have all these other processed foods, the things that you're finding in a box in your local grocery store. Those are not really real foods. You have to adopt the real food diet. When you adopt the real food diet, your body recognizes that it's getting the nutrition. If it's not getting the nutrition that it needs, then supplement. Supplement with multivitamins, what you call a plant-based multivitamin. But supplement with something. But the first thing I think that people need to attack when it comes to obesity is adopting that real food diet, adopting a more nutrient-dense diet. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If this has inspired you, please comment on the video and leave me some comments and let me know how it can help you. Also, I'd like to mention that I started a radio show where I'm interviewing local health local as well as national health and wellness experts. So join me on that show on Phat-Man Radio, and I'll have the link down here below. So I will see you next time. This has been Darren Phat-Man McDuffie, helping you become perfectly healthy and toned. Peace. I'll see you on the next video.